Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
All right, that, of course, Ian Gillan, the great legendary vocalist of Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, and solo material with a song called No Lotion for That. That from his brand new solo release called One Eye to Morocco. And on the line right now, the legend himself, Mr. Ian Gillan. Ian, how you doing, man?
Hey. Oh, fantastic, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Well, Ian, man, obviously, man, like most of your solo records, One Eye to Morocco seems to be full of music that's definitely outside of the Deep Purple mold. How did this collection of songs come together for you?
Well, that's a really interesting observation, because when these songs started off, the demos, they probably sounded quite a lot like Deep Purple, but I decided to get rid of the rock guitar and the rock rhythm section, and consequently they're perhaps a little more authentic to my original influences of the blues, rhythm and blues, soul, reggae, that sort of thing. But I had a lot of songs in my library. Friends come to visit, we sit down and we write a few songs and stick them away and forget about them. But we had a bereavement in the family. Roger Glover's mum died last year, so we cancelled a couple of Deep Purple tours, and I went up to Buffalo, and I had about 38 songs in various stages of completion. So we just did a selection process and around the title track, and boom, there it was. We rehearsed for a week with some session guys, and there it was.
Sure. Now for you, Ian, I mean, you've written so many songs over the years. Is it old hat now, writing songs, and then figuring out what you're going to do with them, or is it still interesting and difficult?
It is quite a lot, actually. I never knew how many songs I wrote until my assistant told me about 3 weeks ago, because she was cataloging everything, and it's just over 450 so far. So no, there are two elements to a song, but basically the music and the melody and words, and they come from so many different sources. My friend Steve Morris from Liverpool, he comes down to my house and calls me and says, "I've got a few ideas. What do you think? Shall we have a session?" And so we do, and I do what I call gibberish. Before I write any words or anything, I have to get the sound of the words and the tune. Okay. So I just go to make nonsense stuff up, and occasionally a little phrase will come out that is usable. But no, you just make a noise, really. And I think we've been writing songs for so long that there's always something interesting. And I leave the words unfinished until just before we get to the studio, because part of it fresh. But as far as the music's concerned, there's an abundance of the pure varieties of blues and soul and reggae and all of those forms of music. And that was before the big electric guitars and the bands came along. So you heard what the songs were about, you heard the construction of them and the simplicity of them, which was what was so appealing, but none of them were overproduced. And you could hear, for example, the intake of breath of the singer just before he delivered a line, and you could hear the room. You could actually hear the sound in the room, whether it's an orchestra or a band or whatever. So I think a lot of those things stay with you, and it was very interesting to do a record like this with such a great producer who I've worked with many times before, and he's an incredible guy.
Sure. Now, Ian, I'm going to make an observation here, and you can tell me that I'm 1,000% wrong, and that's fine, because this is strictly a guess, I guess. But looking at I'm going to say the last 4 to 5 years of music that you've done with the Gillan's In release, and with the Journey to Rock, the Highway Star DVD, and even the Live in Anaheim DVD and CD release, it almost looks like maybe you're reevaluating your career, almost like you might actually be thinking about, what's next, or possibly retiring, or at least retiring from heavy rock. Is that even a remotely close, or no?
No, that's not. I have heard people say, "Whenever are you going to stop?" But no, it's not in my it's not my plan. The thing is, there's such an abundance of ideas. that they have to come out. So, once a song's written, it just, as I say, gets put in the library, and then it's there when it's needed. I don't feel the need to record everything as soon as it's written. But no, I've got a lot of things that I'm working on. A lot of my hobbies actually take up more time than the music. And I mean, I think about 10% of my writing time is taken writing music. The other another 10% is on articles and essays and Q&As and features and things for online stuff that I do a lot of now at Gillan.com. But most of it is just for my own private work. I mean, I've spent all my lifetime working on a project combining science and theology, and it's my thesis on infinity and God that have intrigued me. It's not a religious piece at all. It's purely scientific, but and Darwinian. But it's fascinating study. I'm very grateful to the internet because it saved me a lot of trips to the library.
Right on, man. Well, Ian, obviously Deep Purple emerged back in the news recently, not for anything that you guys did necessarily, but the guys from Metallica basically put you guys back front and center when they were inducted into the Hall of Fame by clearly stating that while they were thrilled to be in, they felt like you guys should have been in before them. What did you think about that as the guy they were talking about?
Well, I'm obviously flattered. We don't have such a thing in Europe, and I think to a certain extent it's a wonderful thing. The Americans tend to be very supportive of their celebrities and stars and musicians, and whereas in England they tend to do everything they can to shoot you down. But that's England for you. I don't really understand that system, but it was a very nice thing for them to say, and well, I don't know.
Sure. Do you agree? Do you agree with them saying that you guys should have gone in front of them, or is it not even something you consider?
Oh, well, I don't know. As I say, I don't really understand it because it's not something we have over here. So I don't know. It's honors, recognition. I don't know.
Sure.
It's too much to do.
Right on. Well, Ian, before I let you go, man, I figured the best place to wrap this up would be to figure out what the current status is of Deep Purple and what's next for both yourself and Deep Purple.
Well, last year we played in 48 countries and on an average of 5 cities a week, and we're pretty much on schedule to do that again this year, thereabouts. And I've just taken a couple of weeks break and just come back from Russia and Czech Republic and Poland, and we're off again fairly soon to start the European festival season in the summer, which takes us all. I love that. That's just a load of outdoor stuff. That's great. And then a massive concert tour at the end of the year, but mostly in Europe. We spend the first portion of the year in South America and Japan, but this year is mostly going to be in Europe. So we're very busy, and the band is exceedingly happy. We had a break over Christmas, and it was just wonderful. We met up again in Prague the day before our first show, and everyone drifting into the bar and saying, how's that dog still alive? Or did you get that new car? Or how's the football team doing? How's the family? Etc., etc. And I was going up in the lift to my room, and I thought, it's typical Deep Purple. We haven't seen each other for 6 weeks, and then spent 2 hours in the bar, not one mention of music.
Right.
Not one.
Very
it's all about
nice.
the family. So yeah, we're very comfortable at the moment, and it's a good thing.
Sure.
I mean,
Excellent. Well, Ian, why don't you give us a song to wrap the interview up with, and maybe tell us a real quick story about it.
Well, this one I didn't write, but I'd like. He's my American friend, who's also my creative manager and guitar player, and he's also happens to be a lawyer as well, from Buffalo, New York. And he wrote this song about a girl that he was yearning to see, and he got more physically excited at each state line that he crossed as he was driving down to see her in Texas, and it's called Texas State of Mind.
All
Poor
right.
girl.
Well, let's check it out. It's Ian Gillan. It is a Texas State of Mind right here on your Classic Metal Show.
Thanks for checking out the Best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.